Today's tour is going to be a little bit different, but super insightful. And when it comes to Park City real estate, I'm just going to give you an insider's look and a little bit geographical tour of what Park City is all about. So in the section of town that we are currently standing in, which is called Old Town, this is what most people think about when they think about Park City real estate. They think about walking Main Street. They think of big 4th of July parties that are happening here because we shut down the entire block. But one thing to note is anything south of Park Avenue starts to be formulated into two different types of floor plans. It's either going to be an uphill build or a downhill build. And the property we're in today will be a downhill build, and I'm going to show you the way it's formatted and its floor plan as we walk throughout, so follow me around. When it comes to the footprints that we're working with here in Old Town, the average acreage is only 0.04 and what we call a double lot of 0.08. This home that we're currently in is only 0.05. So looking at this hallway and how narrow some of these builds have to be, that doesn't mean that the lifestyle is going to change. It just means we need to be a little bit more creative when it comes to our architecture. So behind this door, we have our garage. And then we come into this massive open view corridor, which is Park City real estate. So even though this property was built in 2023, the most recent previous owner decided to kind of change this out and make it a little bit of their own. So they hired Woodwork Salt Lake and they came in here and threw this bench in and then also added this extended bar that we see over on this side. So whether you're enjoying the hot tub, enjoying the fireplace, doing your little own après ski, you ultimately don't even have to go down another set of stairs to be able to make yourself a drink. And one of the things that I appreciate from an architectural standpoint is the use of the glass and the steel that we're gonna see throughout this home. So on this, they're actually using it as a pure barrier for safety reasons. So kind of think of it as a glass railing, and you also saw that on the first floor above. And right now is a perfect time to talk about the specs of the property itself. So it's 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and it's 3,087 square feet. This property sold for $6,494,845. Making our way into the great room, I really want to point out this beautiful accent piece, which is just having this natural wood. So even though we do have a gas fireplace, it just gives it a nice little touch. Not to mention the floor-to-ceiling fireplace and the incorporation of the still around the mantelpiece. In here, we do have a beautiful L-shaped couch, plenty of room for seating area when it comes to having your friends, your family, and your loved ones over. Not to mention, if we pivot ourselves around, we do have an additional balcony behind us. And then we come into our dining room section and our beautiful kitchen, which consists of Sub-Zero appliances, Wolf, and everything you expect when it comes to a gourmet kitchen, even when it comes to our filling pot. One thing to point out, and I like as a nice little feature that the interior designer did, was having the two-tone when it comes to this counter space. So not only do we have quartz here, we do have marble down beneath, and we also have the marble that is full height on the backsplash itself. And then jumping into a property like this, we haven't even talked about the revenue that can come from a property of this stature. A lot of people, when they think about real estate, they just think about their friends, their families, and then ultimately just being able to enjoy it and be able to create memories here. But there's a whole nother side of Park City real estate that not everybody's talking about, and that's our investment vacation rental portfolio. So a property like this is on track to do over $280,000 or possibly even eclipse $300,000 when it comes to rental revenue for this year. And like everybody likes to say, what's behind door number 1? In this case, it's a perfectly placed powder room. And now you've experienced the first 2 levels. So as you can see, it's not gonna be your traditional floor plan. And right behind me is actually gonna be the primary bedroom. And I'm gonna let you take a look first. So as you make your way into the primary bedroom, you of course have your walk-in closet, not to mention the same company that did the bar and seating area on the first floor actually custom made both these end tables that you see on both sides of this bed, but I also really like the light features that they added in here. It's a nice little touch. And behind this barnwood door, we walk into our spa-inspired primary suite. So not only do we have our soaking tub or multiple shower heads, but it wouldn't be a true shower without your rainforest shower head. Moving along, we do have our marble seating area inside the actual shower itself, which then extends over to the dual vanity, not to mention these awesome wall sconces that are up on the mirror. Making our way down the hallway, we see our glass being used here as a safety measure and a beautiful architectural piece. We come into this other bedroom that's on this level. Right here, we do have a queen bed incorporated, but plenty of space, plenty of room to be able to move around, not to mention additional closet, and of course our ensuite. So at the end of the hallway, we do have our washer and dryer, plus nice little folding area, and then that beautiful matching cabinetry that was also found in the primary walk-in closet. And then let's go to our very bottom floor. So at the bottom level, you can see this has been a very different floor plan than the traditional setup, which would have been go into a garage, maybe have an additional bonus room on the back side of that garage, and then make your way up into your main living room, great room, dining room area, and probably a powder room attached to that section. And then the 2 additional layers above that being where your bedrooms would be. So it's basically, just think of it as a reverse floor plan. You're coming in, you're going to your garage, you have your little bar, your rooftop section. Your second floor consists of your great room, your kitchen, your dining area, powder room, and then our bottom 2 floors are ultimately where our bedrooms are hosted. So as we come to this section of the property, we come into both of our last 2 remaining rooms. So on this side, we have our bunk room, which consists of a single over a single. We do have a Jack and Jill bathroom, which is a fantastic feature because if we make our way across the room, we have an additional living room, so that way you have 2 different groups. So you have the kids downstairs playing their games, watching TV, watching a movie, and then the adults can ultimately enjoy that second level main living room. And for those that are creatures like me, that sometimes, honestly, you just gotta get away from other people, I can't tell you how much I appreciate a second living room, and or in this case, we can just call this a bonus room. So people can be upstairs enjoying each other's company, and I can escape to the bottom floor den. And behind me is our final bedroom. Take a peek. So that's a wrap on today's tour, and to find Park City's most iconic properties, you know where to find me.